o'clock. It's time for the council to be in session. It is 10 minutes after 10. We have Mrs. Chick, Ms. Goldberg, Mr. Pacheco, Mr. Padilla. We have 5 members present. We need 5 more for a quorum. Okay, call the roll.
Birds Chick, Stewart, Galanter, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Pacheco, Padilla, Ridley, Thomas, Fornich, Wax, Walters, Ferraro, 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, the council will please come to order. This is a meeting of the City Council for the City of Los Angeles on the 8th day of October, 1999. There are 15 council districts in the city. The regular meeting days are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We are currently being viewed by cable subscribers throughout the Los Angeles area on Channel 35, and we're also being monitored by council phone. The first order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
All right, Ms. Goldberg moves, Mr. Holden seconds. There's no objections, unanimous vote. The next item,
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
if there's no objections, unanimous vote. We do have some presentations, so I'm going to call on Ms. Goldberg first to make a presentation.
pass for the moment because the mayor's office still has the certificate, so we're waiting for it to come back down.
Okay, what about Mr. Pacheco? Do you have a? Okay.
Mr. President and fellow council members, I want to bring up Joe Sandoval. Joe Sandoval, come forward. Joe Sandoval is an individual who we refer to in the community as the commissioner. I don't know the history of why he calls himself the commissioner, but that's his nickname. And Joe Sandoval has been working in the Monterey Hills community for a long time, working with The View, which is a local newsletter, and really carrying it for the community to inform them as to what's going on in the community. And he's also been very involved with the Little League, with Kathy Molina, and the Little League Park there in Highland Park and Garvanza. And so for me, he's been an inspiration in showing me that the community is very much interested in what's going on, and if I can play a part and we can together work on these issues, then I know that we can make the community better for everyone. So I wanted to recognize Joe Sandoval with the certificate of appreciation from my office for all his contributions in giving us an alternative view to what's going on in the community through his publication called The View. So I wanted to recognize him here today with this certificate of appreciation. Thank you, Joe Sandoval.
Thank you.
Good. If you want to say a few words, you want to say?
I don't know what to say. I've never been recognized before. Hi, Mike. You might remember me back in the old Pasta House days when in the East LA JCs, we used to close down the Pasta House on Wednesdays at least once a month. I know you did. Anyway, just a quick history. First of all, thank you very much, Nick. I really appreciate it. I had no idea that this was going to be done, and I really I always wondered one of these things with the City of Los Angeles seal in color. Anyway, The View is the Monterey Hills official newsletter. It's a bi-monthly publication, and I try to keep The View going so that it's sort of the glue that holds our community together. We don't have a throwaway newspaper because the people up in Monterey Hills, they're all gated condominium complexes, so it's hard for the throwaway newspapers to get it in there. And so this is the only thing that kind of holds it together. So anything I can do to spread the news in Monterey Hills, anything that I can do for the council or the City of Los Angeles, I'm more than happy to. And I thank you very much for this appreciation award. Thanks.
Thank you very much, and just remember, with that resolution and $1, I'll get you a cup of coffee in a cheap restaurant.
Thanks.
You have a resolution? Okay. Mr. Padilla?
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. I'd like to call up two of my colleagues, Councilmember Pacheco and Councilmember Hernandez, to join me in making the presentation of the following certificate. It's really a pleasure and an honor to call out on the event of their 25th anniversary an institution here in the city of Los Angeles, the pride of not only the Latino community on the east side, but I think all of the city, the music group, two-time Grammy Award-winning Los Lobos. Can somebody ask them to come out?
We've been holding them back. Bring them up. Yeah.
They're enjoying that coffee back there. I think the group members would be the first to tell you they've come a long way from their days of playing gigs at the Whiskey and Club 88 and the Music Machine to the first album they released back in 1983, which was called And a Time to Dance. And to show you how diligent my staff is, we actually have a copy of that first album. Doesn't look anything like the CDs of today. But along the way, like I said, they did win a couple of Grammys. In my particular community, their fame skyrocketed with their involvement in the soundtrack for the movie La Bamba, which portrayed the life of Pacoima legend Richie Valens. In 1988, my parents got a liking to Los Lobos with their album La Pistola del Corazón, which featured a lot of very traditional Mexican music. Their most recent album this time takes this band going back to their roots in East Los Angeles and their rock and roll roots. And on behalf of the entire City Council, my colleagues here, I want to commend and present this resolution to Los Lobos on the event of their 25th anniversary, almost as long as I've been alive. I want to offer Councilmember Pacheco and Hernandez an opportunity to maybe say a few words and then call forward Los Lobos.
Members of the council, what Mr. Councilmember Padilla didn't say is he was probably rocking to Los Lobos at the age of 3. Because if his parents were listening him to the reality as he was. I just wanted, it's a great honor for me. These are some of those special moments we have as council members when we get to recognize what we call our own. And you need to know that Los Lobos is definitely Los Angeles. And a lot of people talk about Tex-Mex music. I think they redefined it as California Mex music. And basically we're the result of a lot of crossovers. I got to share with them early on that I thought that it was a tremendous tribute to their music and our community when they were given the opportunity to perform at the opening of the Getty Museum, an international institute, something of a tremendous amount of pride for our city. But more important, Los Lobos has been part of our communities. I listened to them at Plaza La Raza, I listened to them at community festivals, and watching them become the icons that they are has been my sense of pride as a Latino in the city of Los Angeles. And so again, congratulations on 25 years of being representatives of our community, ambassadors of our community, not only in our community, but worldwide. Again, congratulations.
I'm going to have to ask for your indulgence because it's gone full circle for me being here today, and let me give you a little background. When I was at UC Berkeley and part of MECHA and part of my involvement on the campus, I started doing Cinco de Mayo festivals, music festivals at the Greek Theater, which were big, one-day productions, $80,000 budgets at the time. And the way I got involved in student government is I asked a very basic question of who pays for these concerts? And they said the student government. And I said, okay, I want to be one of them because we all know how this works. You want to keep a program going, you make sure it gets funded. So I became a student elected official. And one of the things that I really felt proud about was although Los Lobos could not perform at the Greek Theater Festival, they did make themselves available to play free at a lunch hour on Cinco de Mayo week, which I was coordinating with the students. So I feel really proud to be here today because it's full circle for me to have achieved my election as a council member, to be with Los Lobos here today because they are an inspiration to our community. They have been an inspiration to me because of what they bring out in the fact that their music is not what one can put in any little niche. They have such a diversity and they have such a rich mixture of different traditions in their music that are from our country and from Mexico that I'm really proud of them and I'm proud to be here with them. So Los Lobos are here today to receive this resolution from us and let's present it.
I think this is the ultimate thank you on your behalf for them playing in Berkeley.
No, with that and a cup of coffee.
Gentlemen, congratulations.
All right. First of all, I'd like to thank the everybody up here, and the members of the council. It's a great honor. This city is, this city brought us up, it nurtured us, and it's given us experiences that we've carried on into our creative lives as well as our lives as fathers, and hopefully we can pass on the same kind of experiences over to our children. And more importantly, like Mike had said, we are a reflection of this community. So and this great city. Thank you.
Well, let's do one thing. Let's make sure we identify everyone who's in the group. So we have Steve Berlin, right? Luis Perez, Cesar Rosas, Conrado Lozano, and David Hidalgo. They're all here today. We have
Special presentation from the mayor's office.
Well, thank you, councilman, members of the council. The great thing about Los Angeles is the people who come from our city. And from Garfield High School, this great band that has influenced Los Angeles and the world, and they're going to be at the Great Greek Theater tomorrow night. And if I was younger, I'd be in the bushes, and if I had a little more money, I'd be in the great seats. But on behalf of Mayor Richard Reardon, I want to present this little monument sign of a street sign that salutes you for your 25th anniversary as the great members of the Los Angeles community for Los Lobos. Congratulations on behalf of Mayor Reardon.
Thank you.
No, Marshall High.
Okay, we gotta do an about face.
Yeah, we have the back.
About face, about face, no, over here.
There you go. Okay, go to the back.
Mr. Padilla, thank you very much. Ms. Goldberg for a presentation.
Certificate from my staff. Thank you. Okay, when we're done, I'm gonna just take it back for a minute and get the last two signatures. So you can just sit back down and we'll get it done for you. Why don't you stand one on each side of me so everybody can see you. Mr. President, members of the council, standing with me are Reverend Dr. Edward J. Hansen and Ms. Grace Godin, who are two very important pillars of a very important church celebrating its 90th anniversary in the Hollywood community, and that's Hollywood United Methodist Church. This church was founded in 1909 and is going to celebrate its 90th anniversary this Sunday, October the 10th, at its 11 a.m. worship service. The church first building was called Wilcox Hall at the corner of Hollywood Boulevard and Wilcox in 1909, a structure that had been erected 4 years earlier. It housed a bank downstairs, the Hollywood Club upstairs, and the second building was built at the corner of Ivar and Hollywood Boulevard and was later sold to Temple Israel. The congregation purchased the land at Highland and Franklin, where it now sits, in 1925. The discovery of soft, unstable ground caused by centuries of water draining from the surrounding Santa Monica Mountains, where storm waters had cut ravines and gullies, left huge holes filled with silt and caused a halt in construction. 2,270 cubic yards of concrete later. Can you imagine what that would cost today? I don't think you could even do it today. They had a church. It's an 80-foot-high sanctuary roof, is called a hammer beam construction, and is a copy of the roof in the vast Westminster Hall in London, England. Has stained glass windows on the west side showing characters of the Old Testament, and windows on the east side showing the New Testament. Altogether, the building contains 47,973 pieces of stained glass. And on and on. I mean, it is a remarkable building. It was made a historical cultural landmark in October 1982. And it's been used as the backdrop for movies, such as That Thing You Do and Sister Act and Back to the Future. It's been used as a rehearsal hall for such productions as Les Miserables, Cats, and Evita. But mostly it's used year in and year out by a very caring community and congregation. If you think about it, you probably all know this church. It's the one at Highland and Hollywood with the big, large AIDS ribbon on it. And that's because they have a very special AIDS ministry, which includes visits monthly to feed patients at County USC Hospital. The program in 90 years has only had 13 pastors, including the current one. And I will now read just the remaining part of this, which says, "And therefore be it resolved that by the adoption of this resolution, the City Council and the Mayor join with me in congratulating the Hollywood Methodist Church on their 90th anniversary. And we all commend them for being an inclusive, loving, and caring family of faith, proclaiming all people are created in the image of God, and affirming all people regardless of age, race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, marital status, abilities, or economic status. They proclaim they are all children of God and an integral part of this family." And I will tell you, from having served this district both on the school board and now here in council, that this church is a part of what makes Hollywood a good place to be. They reach out to everyone. They are involved with all parts and all aspects of the community, and I know that a good deal of this goes to two long-time people who have participated in this, Reverend Hanson, and I understand that it's this 30 years so far, for Grace Godin as well. So I want to, on behalf of my colleagues and the mayor, before I do, there's another council member who wishes to speak, so I'll hold off in just a second.
Mrs. Goldberg, Mr. President, members of the council, I just simply rise to celebrate the fact that Hollywood United is being recognized in this way. You may recall when the health fair movement in the city first launched, Hollywood United Methodist Church was actively involved with a group then called Joint Health Ventures, which was a health education and advocacy operation of which I was a part during my college years at Immaculate Heart. Larry was pastoring there then at the time, and this congregation has been a strong part of the ecumenical movement in the city of Los Angeles and beyond, and I'm just delighted to see that they are still here and going strong.
Okay, now?
Ms. Goldberg, let me point out that my formal induction to my fraternity was at that church a few months ago.
In 19 of those All right, so Pastor Godin, congratulations. Thank you very much for coming down. If you'd like to say a few words, please feel free.
Thank you. Well, to members of the City Council, particularly Jackie Goldberg, John Ferraro, Mark Ridley Thomas, thank you for your comments, your support, and the Mayor's Office. We appreciate this honoring of our church on its 90th anniversary, and we commit ourselves to continue into the next century, seeking to be a place that welcomes all people and continues to be a place of health and nurture and care for the people of the Hollywood community. So thank you so much.
You want to say something?
I started working for only about 2 weeks while someone was on vacation, but they didn't return, and now it's 30 years. I guess God kept me there. but it's great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
So why don't you come back in the back? We'll take a picture.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Ms. Goldberg. Next item,
Item number 10 on the regular agenda, request to be withdrawn from the agenda referred to the Housing and Community Redevelopment Committee.
what item is that?
Item number 10.
If there's no objections, unanimous vote.
Item number 1 on the regular agenda is the appointment of commissioner, appointment of Dr. Christine Beckman to the Commission on Status of Women.
Ms. Beckman, Dr. Beckman, rather. This is the appointment to the status of the women. Aren't any discussion? If not, prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
Dr. Beckman, we want to thank you for serving the city, and we'll send this forthwith.
Thank you.
Next item.
Items number 2 through 9 on the regular agenda are items for which public hearings have been held. A motion is required on item number 8.
Aren't they the same, Connor?
2 through 9, we have two motions on one file. 3 is called special.
Yeah, you know, John, on 9, why don't I move budget and finance, which is a little more inclusive?
Huh? Well, Mr.
I'll-
On 8, what
On
is?
8 is 8B.
Huh?
8B.
8B? Okay, if there's no objections, we'll have that on there. And there is somebody who wants to be heard on 9, with it, although we've had a public hearing on it. We'll call it special.
9 special.
Yeah. So we have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, not 7. 8, 7 is, we'll call that special. 8B, and prepare the roll on those. Tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
All right. Miss Walters, would you take Mrs. Walters' name off?
Off on 7.
We're taking it, I guess.
We call 7 special.
Yes.
Yeah, you want to leave?
Yes.
Take her name off. All right, we have item 7. Prepare the roll on item 7. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. The next item,
Items number 11 and 12 on the regular agenda are items for which public hearings have not been held.
anybody in the chamber wants to be heard on 11 or 12? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed. Any specials by council members, 11 and 12?
There might be an amendment to 12 by Hernandez, but it's not in here.
Okay, we'll hold 12, 11 is it, or 12? 12. All right. All right, we have 11 before us. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
That is approved. Next item,
Item number 13 on the regular agenda. That may go to closed session. I think Mr. Ridley Thomas wants to.
Mr. Ridley Thomas, we have, on item 13, we have Robin Horwald who wants to be heard. This is the item we continued and we had a public hearing.
Mr. President, pursuant to the request of the city attorney, it's my understanding this is to be heard in closed session pursuant to pending litigation. I defer to your judgment as to whether public hearing is in order.
Let's give her a few minutes.
All right.
If she has anything. Miss
Yes.
Horwald?
Good morning, members of the City Council. We were here on Wednesday for the original hearing on this matter, and at that time, the matter was continued at the request of several council members who were concerned that the proper notice procedures had not been followed with respect to the demolition of my client's property. As set forth in both the original objections and the supplemental objections, which were each delivered to each member's chambers, and I hope you've had the opportunity to review, we again request that the assessment not be made at this time. Yet again, we are dealing with a case which is about to come to trial, and any assessment that is approved here today would likely be voided by the court's decision. The matter has been pending for quite some time. The building was demolished in March of '97. The case will go to trial in 2 months, or in January, so it's 3 months. And we do urge that the City Council put over its vote until after the trial of this matter. Short of that, we again ask the City Council not to assess the property, primarily on the basis of the failure to provide adequate notice under any of the 3 provisions that have been cited in the motion. There was no notice given to my client. It's very clear from the depositions of the inspectors and people at various levels at the Building and Safety Department that no one had ever been able to recall a situation in which they had worked on where there was not even an attempt to give notice, and that included Bureau Chief Robert Martin, who said he'd been with the city for 29 years and could not remember a particular case where there was no attempt to give notice to the owner prior to the demolition of his property. Additionally, the city did nothing during the time period that it could have acted prior to the demolition to inform my client. Apparently, my client's property was placed on the Problem Property Resolution Teams group by an interagency task force as early as January of 1997, at which time, when the Problem Property Task Force had a chance to get out to my client's property, they determined to call in the inspector. Nevertheless, to the extent that somebody in the community, be it the council member's office or community personnel, I'm not sure whom, put the property on the list, what would have been simpler to do would have been to let my client know that they felt that he had a problem property and to deal with it. So in essence, the city decided long before it actually raised the property that this property was not a property that they were fond of, and no effort was made, not just during the 2 weeks between the time it was actually declared an imminent hazard and the time it was demolished, 2 weeks during which certainly he could have been notified, but way back at least in January of '97 when it was first determined that this was a problem property, my client should have been notified and should have been given the opportunity to rectify the situation. What has now happened is that we've become into litigation where the city has taken the position that not only do they have the right to knock down my client's property, but they have the right to assess it as well. So not only has he lost his building without notice, but now he has to pay for it. Indeed, one of the things that my client pointed out to me as one of his pet peeves particular about this is that he had rented a fence in order to keep the property fenced off. And if you viewed the videotape of the demolition, the first thing that was demolished was the rented fence. And now the city has put up its own fence and charged my client for the price of the new fence that the city put up, not giving him the opportunity to even return the fence to the company that he had purchased it from. Thus, in conclusion, I simply urge the council to either not assess the property, because this just seems to be one of those few things that fell through the cracks at Building and Safety. Everyone in the city apparently knew, except for my client, that the city had a problem with my client's building. And for whatever reason, all of the inspectors that have testified thus far at deposition, they say, gee, you know, we have no requirement to notify somebody, but we've always tried in the past. I don't know why your client wasn't notified. But it's not required, so no harm, no foul.
Okay.
Well, we respectfully disagree.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, then we'll hold this on the desk as we'll go into executive session on this. All right, the next item.
Item number 14 on the continuation agenda.
Mr. Holden calls 14 special. Okay, the next item.
Mr. President, there's a reconsideration of item number 30 from Wednesday, October 6th by Mr. Padilla.
Item number 30, a track map. Is there any objections or reconsideration? Seeing none, the matter is before us. Mr. Padilla?
Yes, Mr. President, this item was before us on Wednesday's council meeting. I had asked for a continuance to clarify some details on the track map. I'm comfortable with it and ask for your support in moving this forward.
Okay, then we have item number 30 on Wednesday's agenda. Mr. Padilla is asking for an aye vote. Prepare the roll, tabulate the vote.
13 ayes.
That is approved.
Forthwith, please.
We'll send that forthwith. Next item.
Item number 3, called special by Councilmember Holden.
Mr. Holden, you call 3 special?
Mr. President, members, the city attorney is going to give us an explanation as to why this additional funds are necessary to be spent for legal counsel. I think it's important that we understand the issues in this case.
Yes, Mr. President, members of the council, Pete Echeverria from the City Attorney's Office. This is a case involving the demolition of a building which was damaged by the Northridge earthquake. The building was red tagged and it was in such dangerous condition that it was demolished subsequently by a contractor that the city Building and Safety Department brought in to do that. The tenants of the building have sued, alleging that it was the action was hastily done, that there was a taking of essentially their property, their accounts receivable, where they were not able to go in and recover before the building was demolished and it was destroyed. There are issues of insurance coverage and whether or not the insurance company for the contractor will step up to some of the to defend the city and to pay for the damages, and also the direct lawsuit itself. So there are 2 parties that the city is looking to, both the insurance company and and of course we're being sued by the tenants. You've had a more extensive presentation than that in closed session before. I don't know if there are any other questions that we can answer. The law firm was retained because they bring in the specialized expertise that we don't have in-house regarding insurance coverage, and they're also assisting in the defense of the case.
Mr. Holden, please press your button. Thank you.
Right,
Mr. Holden,
my
please.
time. We are defending ourselves because we think we have the right to do what we have done already. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
In terms of
The
demolishing
building
the building.
was severely damaged.
Protecting the tenants by not permitting them to go back in because it was that unsafe. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right. Then what is the likelihood that we would have any damages then? That's what our counsel is.
We believe that ultimately we will prevail in the case.
Okay, very good. Up to now, then, this will allow a total amount spent about $950,000. Is that correct?
It will raise the amount to that with this additional amount, the additional appropriation.
And additional appropriations would be required as well, in addition to the $400,000?
No, I'm sorry. With the $400,000 additional appropriation that'll take us through trial, it'll be $950 total.
But is it likely to cost any more?
Well, this will take us through the trial. It depends on what the rulings are at that point. We don't know.
What's the hourly rate for this?
I'm sorry, I don't have that information.
Well, you can tell me later on.
I can provide it for you.
All right, very good. Well, Mr. President, members, this is a good law firm, and I'm sure we're well represented, and I see no reason why we shouldn't have a unanimous vote for this additional funding.
Okay, Mr. Wax?
I don't see any reason why this city should give $1 million to the Manat firm to defend this case, and I think this is really way out of line.
We have item number 3 before us. Ms. Goldberg?
I'd really like to know more about Mr. Wax's opinion. Could you be more specific?
Nate has an attorney that we could get for $35 an hour, I think.
But I mean that seriously, since that was a strong statement, but I don't know what it refers to, and since this is not my area of expertise, I'm not being facetious. I really would appreciate a little delineation of why, is it too much money, or is it...
I simply don't believe that there's $1 million worth of work that we can't do inside. There may be some specialty that we need them for, but to $1 million and may even exceed that, it just seems like just giving a good part of what the city attorney's office ought to be doing to that firm, and I don't think it's necessary.
Can I ask Mr. Echeverria to respond to that?
Well, they were brought on board because they have the expertise that we don't have on the insurance coverage.
And what's the nature of that expertise?
The insurance coverage and bad faith defense issues.
And we don't have that?
That we do not have in-house.
I see.
And we're seldom called upon for that kind of expertise.
because it's not an issue that comes up all of the time.
Correct.
What is the approximate value of this case in terms of if you lose, if the city loses, what are we talking about in terms of potential losses?
The complaint, I believe, is whatever they prove. The allegations are that it'll be in the tens of millions of dollars.
I see.
In the range of 60 million or so.
I see. So your recommendation is based on the idea that with that much at stake, you need the kind of expertise of people who do this regularly as opposed to people who do this occasionally.
Absolutely.
Did
Yes.
this go to Budget and Finance?
Yes, it did.
Did Budget and Finance concur?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Mistakowski?
I just wanted to add a little bit. This building was in the 11th District. It was a medical and dental office building, and we're not dealing with the owner of the building. We are dealing with the tenants and occupants who are the medical and dental professionals who, in the aftermath of the earthquake, had asked for the right to go into a building that was leaning and imminently about to collapse, which could have threatened not only people, anyone who might have been allowed to go in the building. And unlike others in the Northridge earthquake, where we might have allowed people to go in and retrieve certain belongings, building and safety inspectors and others said this one is already pancaked. Anyone going in, even if they sign a waiver, we cannot allow, because there would be impaired judgment on the part of someone thinking that they could go in that building to get anything. So it really is dealing with those issues, and as a consequence, as Mr. Echeverria said, our city inspector, our city is prosecuting the case and dealing with it, but the issue relative to what share, what allocation is appropriate on an insurance company who had insurance to cover a lot of these things, we need that kind of expertise, and we don't have. And so while I share Mr. Wax's concern and raise the issue of the amount, what is going on in terms of the attorneys who told us what is going on, this is being fought in a very, very difficult manner where we believe, and our attorneys believe, we should be getting information and rulings, and every ruling is being appealed on up to the Supreme Court on very small matters. And it's this firm that has this expertise who has dealt with that before and is going and fighting each level.
Okay, we have item number 3 before us. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes, 1 no.
That is approved. Mr. Ridley Thomas for a presentation.
Mr. President, members of the council, at the request of Mr. Savornich, I wish to say on his behalf that history in this great city is still unfolding. Our special guest today is a resident of San Pedro and has roots in that city that spanned more than a century. His family is well-situated, well-established from a historical perspective in the part of our city as we know as San Pedro. It gives me a great pleasure to say that in our own city family, we have those who share a common history and a vocation with our special guest, having served in the National Guard for some 24 years himself, and serving as a city employee for some 27 years. I'm going to ask if Mr. Gene Jackson, who's a member of the Community Development Department, will be kind enough to do us the honor of introducing our very special guest. Gene?
Thank you very much, Councilman. Mr. President, members of the City Council, my name is Gene Jackson, Deputy Director for Human Services, Community Development Department. Standing before you this morning is Major General Peter Gravitt. As the councilman had indicated, has been a longtime resident of the City of Los Angeles and the San Pedro area. He attended grade school there, high school, joined the National Guard at age 17 as a private, worked his way up through the ranks, became a commissioned officer, was involved in duty in the watch riots in 1965, responded to the city's call in 1992 for the civil unrest, responded once again in 1994 for the earthquake in the Northridge quake. He is purely a peacemaker. He has been a public servant, 22 years with the Los Angeles Police Department. He is the recipient of the highest award bestowed on an individual in the Los Angeles Police Department, the Medal of Valor. He has over 40 years of service in the California National Guard. He was the first Afro-American to be promoted to the rank of Brigadier General and was the Assistant Division Commander for support. This past July, he became the first Afro-American to be promoted to the rank of Major General and is the commander, and he is my commander of the 40th Infantry Division Mechanized for the State of California National Guard. I introduce to you Major General Peter Gravitt.
Major General Gravitt, is on behalf of the Los Angeles City Council that we resolve that we wish to congratulate you on your promotion as the Division Commander for the 40th Infantry Division, California National Guard, presented this day on behalf of Councilman Rudy Savornich Jr. and the entirety of the Los Angeles City Council.
Mr. Holden first.
Oh, what a distinguished record of accomplishment, General. You are a living example of what one can do with one's life, no matter what the obstacles are at the offset. You have served us as a police officer, absolutely fantastic, in the finest police department. You've served us in the military, our state, and our country. We are proud of you. You're the role model that should be shown to all the youth of our community. The athletes are good, the musicians are good and outstanding, even politicians sometimes. But certainly you are the one that we should look at as the person who's accomplished so much and a place to go for the youth in our community. I had an opportunity when I was in the Senate to provide for the Corps, which you now command, civilian conservation, the uniforms, and to legalize the operations of that civilian corps under the command of the National Guard for the state of California. You have a tremendous task, but I know you've already measured up to it and would accomplish it very, very well. So I commend you for a job well done and for your accomplishments. Thank you.
Mr. President and fellow Trojan from USC, members of the council, Councilman Ridley Thomas, Councilman Savornich, who is not here, and to others, I thank you for this opportunity to be here this morning and for the presentation. As the councilman indicated, I come from a long line of a family who have been in the city of Los Angeles for over 100 years in the San Pedro area. And after having attended school and having served throughout the world in Europe and Asia and South America and the Caribbean, I can tell you there's no place like home here in Los Angeles. And I'm just honored to call this place my home. And on behalf of the 16,000 soldiers in my command, and 800 of those, by the way, are city employees of Los Angeles. And on behalf of my family And if I can just briefly introduce my family, my sister Alice Gravitt Simpson, and my cousin Ruth Compton, and my brother William Gravitt. I also thank Gene Jackson for arranging this ceremony, a longtime friend and comrade in uniform. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Severnich. Okay, the next item.
Item number 9, called special.
Members of the council, 9 was, it was a public hearing, but there is somebody that wants to be heard.
Number 9, I want to be heard.
Yeah. Varel, give your name, will you, please?
Varel Marishan, here. Yeah, I'm the trustee of that, of the trust which is involved in there, and I should oppose this paying of the building and safety for condemning. They say it's condemning property, and they say this is something correct they did, but what they claim is one thing, and what was happening in reality is different. It means there was a piano in the property. They broke the piano and trashed it, and then now they want to be paid for it. There was a working refrigerator. They broke it, and now they want to get for it. There was good ladders on the property, aluminum ladders. They took them and sold it. And I bought myself some of the property they took from the property. First of all, they entered without having a warrant on a private residence and without giving a notice. They claim they gave a notice a year before. I asked them how long a notice is valid. They said it's forever. And nobody knew they were coming. After they gave the notice 1 year before, there was an appeal to it, and there was, they came again, there was a fixing of the things, and they seemed to be satisfied. And then all of a sudden they come and trash good things, and they say now they want to be paid for it. I myself bought a whole law library from West LA and furniture, metal furniture to keep it. It was in the house. It was all the statutes of California. It was a whole book around only books. They trashed it, and now they want to be paid for it. Should we pay Hitler for the trashing of books? I don't understand on what basis they come and ask to be paid for trashing good property. Besides that, little things they have stolen. There were tools, there were other things which they didn't bother to trash. They just took it. I wanted to go on the property as they were going there to retrieve medical records, documents, personal things of privacy. They didn't allow me to go there. They infringed the privacy. They entered without having a warrant on a property. What was there was no matter of emergency, so that should prevented them to request a warrant from the city attorney. They, as I told you, it was a year elapsed since they said they claimed they gave a notice, and during this year they could have taken a warrant from the city attorney to enter the dwelling. In fact, as everybody understood, they didn't give notice at all about what they were going to do. They didn't notice that they are going to board up the building. They gave notice of cleaning the trash.
All right, thank you. I think we gave you, this was not a public hearing item, but we did give you a special treatment, so thank you very much.
I would like to ask a continuance on this, so they would give me the file to give you exact response. I couldn't get the file from them. They refused to give me the file.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I want a copy of the file, and I want the city to investigate this to see if the city just did whatever it
All right,
was
thank
supposed
you.
to do.
Thank you. We'll have the councilman of the district now who wants to speak, so Mr. Pacheco?
Yes, Council President and council members, we have reviewed this matter with Building and Safety and with actually, I didn't catch his name directly, but our speaker here, the trustee of the property, and he was given proper notification, and all due process rights were extended to him. And I don't even want to begin to show you the photographs of the condition that the home was in prior to Building and Safety cleaning it up. But this was basically a nuisance in the district and posed a dangerous situation in case of any fire or any sort of health conditions in that home. So I'm moving that we approve item number 9 and support and adopt the building safety assessment to the property. And we did extend it from the last time it was on the agenda and give him an opportunity to review the files, and he chose not to review the files during the extension period from the last time. So I ask that we approve it.
Yeah, just a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, prepare the roll on item number 9. Please, your item number 9, tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. The next item, Mr. Hernandez, we called 12 special because we thought you wanted an amendment.
No, thank you, Mr. President, members of the council. This is kind of a cleanup motion in regards to a lot of the actions we took in terms of the human service delivery system and some of the transfers of the funding. And I would ask that, because we want to make sure everybody was in agreement, that we adopt substitute motion number 12, which is before you at this time, and basically replace this motion with the one that's currently before us. And I did have a meeting with all the parties, and everybody's in agreement to this particular transfers. Just adopt the adoption of, I move the substitute motion for item number 12.
Okay. All right, we had, did any discussion on that? If not, we have item 12, the substitute motion. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved.
Forthwith, Mr. President.
Forthwith on that. Next item is 14.
Item number
Mr. Holden.
Yeah, I think, report on that, Mr. President?
Jasper Williams, Community Development Department, reporting on the proposed Gilmore Associates project that is located at 400 South Main Street, inclusive of 401, 411 South Main, and then moving around 4th Street to to Spring, to 410 Spring Street. This is a proposed mixed-use project that involves major rehabilitation of existing structures in the downtown historic core. Total project cost is $30,171,868. The 108 application that is before you proposes to use Section 108 dollars for rehab of the commercial element of this project, which includes 60,000 square feet of ground floor space in the multiple buildings. The national objective that would be achieved through this project is the elimination of slums and blight. There are also between 90 and 120 jobs that are estimated to be created as a result of this project. pardon me. The current use of the space will include some 200,000 square feet of, 400,000 square feet of residential space, and it will also include, as I said earlier, 60,000 square feet of retail space. We anticipate that this project will be a major, in terms of city objectives, a major catalyst for redevelopment in the downtown historic core, and the property tax revenue issue is reflected in terms of current annual tax revenue of $8,400 being increased to an estimated $25,000 to the city each year. That concludes our report at this time, and we open it up for questions that you may have.
Members, I would like to ask a question. For the retail space, there are 60,000 square feet, and this 108 money is going to provide $3.8 million of taxpayers' money. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the retail space, are we putting any restrictions on whether or not these restaurants, and I think they are restaurants, is that correct, maybe?
Yes, it would be restaurants, projected grocery stores, dry cleaner, and the like. That would be.
Are they likely to make a request to sell alcohol?
It is very likely that the restaurants will request a license for alcohol.
You have an idea they might do that then? Huh?
Yes, sir.
Do we have a policy that we can't give taxpayers money for in a case where alcohol is being sold?
I'm not, if there is such a policy, I'm not aware of it, sir.
Right. Well, I guess the policy is what 8 votes decide that it is, in this case then, if there's no policy.
I think so.
A case-by-case basis.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, fine. I just wanted to know that whose district is this?
This project is in the 9th Council District, Mrs. Walters.
Is she aware that there might be some alcohol sold at the restaurants?
I would let Mrs. Walters speak to that.
Okay, well, I had a project like this with 108 money in my district, and I'm going to be consistent. The council was informed that at least there were 2 licenses that had been granted at the restaurants there to sell alcohol and so on. And I think some members of the council thought that was something that should not be done. But I'm going to be consistent. I thought it should be done for the good of the community, provided so many jobs and benefits, side benefits for the community. 108 money, that's what it's all about, generate more jobs. And you saying this to generate how many jobs?
This project is projected to create between 90 and 120 jobs.
And more housing units as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It sounds like a good project to me, notwithstanding the fact that some people drink wine, some don't. I'm going to ask for an aye vote.
Mr. Wax?
Putting aside for a moment the little ping pong match here between Ms. Walters and Mr. Holden, I was just telling Ms. Walters, this morning I met with a large group of downtown business people, and they asked some of the things that I thought would be good for downtown, and I said more projects exactly like this. For those of you who, if you read the Sunday calendar and the cover story about not only Mr. Gilmore but about this project, this is really visionary. And it's risky, and the fact that someone has both the vision and the willingness to take a risk to do something that can uniquely, is really uniquely suited to a downtown that grows, this is exactly the kind of project that deserves support. And I just wanted to congratulate you. I see you sitting there, and I was really quite moved when I read the article. It was very impressive, and it boded very well for downtown, and I'm glad that we're in a position to help.
Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez?
Mr. President, members of the council, I think Mr. Holden used the word consistent, and he supported the project in his district, and I think that's why he will be supporting this project. And basically, they're both good projects. In reviewing this project, what you need to understand is there's a substantial amount of investment by the federal government, about to the tune of about $22 million.
Yes.
The city's 108, as well as the owner's equity, is not as great as that. But there's a real strong will on behalf of the development company, Mr. Gilmore and Associates, to make downtown Los Angeles alive again. but it's a part of downtown that historically basically has already lived and is in the process of dying. And so being able to revive that part of Los Angeles is extremely important. And I think that this project is basically an injection of energy and financing that's going to allow that to happen, combining not only the retail space at the bottom, but basically creating the kind of living space that hopefully will be competitive and be part of this concept of downtown Los Angeles revitalizing and becoming a 24-hour city. The CRA has already made a substantial amount of investment this quarter, and the reality is now CRA does not have the resources to continue these kinds of investments. And so other potential funding mechanisms are basically coming to the table. One note I have to make, and it was Councilmember Galanter who pointed it out to me, we continue to talk about the historic core of downtown from 3rd Street to 9th Street, Spring Street, because we took council action to create that historic core. But what that historic core omits is City Hall. It omits the birthplace of Los Angeles as we know it, Olvera Street.
Right.
And I was talking to Father Estrada as well as the priest of La Pastita yesterday, and they reminded me that they have a marker that talks about the founding of that church in 1812. Right there at its present location. And so this is part of this whole core of Los Angeles, but it's part of the history of Los Angeles. And I think it's important that we recognize that we need to inject funding to make it happen, but the energy that's being displayed by this developer in trying to basically bring back a part of Los Angeles in a way that it'll serve the future has to be recognized, and I think that's what this project is about. And of course, some of the retail components are part of that revitalization.
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Walters?
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to say about this project to Mr. Tom Gilmore, who is in the audience, that he has my full support on it. I think it's a wonderful project. It is a truly visionary project, and it takes us several levels higher than what we had been addressing in the past. One of the things that Mr. Gilmore wants to do and here purports to do is to change the street level activity. We had had housing. CRA had developed some housing there, but it did nothing for the street level. The street level buildings at the street level were still vacant, still not offering anything to change what was going on Spring Street or Main Street. And Mr. Gilmore has recognized that. He's taken buildings that some thought would never, ever be rehabilitated, and is doing that. And he has received great recognition for this, and duly so. He should receive that recognition for doing this. I was appalled to hear a very learned person in our community criticize him when he was taking it and slough it off as meaningless. I think it's a tremendous job, a tremendous undertaking, and I think we need more time. If we could clone Tom Gilmore, it would be wonderful. And it will surely be a great lift to downtown, to this side of downtown that really gets ignored. And I thank you personally for doing that.
Ms. Galanter?
Well, I too want to say I think it's going to be a great project, but what's going to make it work is that people from City Hall, including all of us, are going to need to walk a couple of blocks to get the coffee or whatever it is that's there, because if people don't come in from the surrounding buildings and actually take advantage of what's proposed in this project so that we get street interaction, we get real people on the street and they come in and spend money, we won't be able to clone Mr. Gilmore or his project. So I also want to join in supporting the item that's before us, and also Mr. Hernandez's comments about the historic core. I just find it astounding that the birthplace of the city is not in the historic core. And it doesn't make sense to visitors. We have a couple of big conventions coming to town. We'd like to be able to talk to them about where our history really is and all the different things that are going on. So I urge support not only for the item before the council, but for the project itself and all others that I hope will follow.
Okay, we have item number 14 before us. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
12 ayes.
That is approved. Forthwith on that item.
Thank you.
Next item.
Item 13 is left on the desk as a closed session item, so now is the time for public comment.
Okay, we have Richard Robinson. Richard, are you going to speak to us, or are you...
Yes, sir.
Okay.
One day at a time. Richard Robinson, the 7-star motel at Hollywood and La Brea. If I may, St. John, perhaps the most, if I remember correctly, familiar chapter in the verse in the Bible, St. John 3:16. For God so loves the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. Thank you.
That's all the cards we have, so the public comment period is closed. The next item.
Item 13, it's a closed session item.
Okay. Yeah, let's do. We're going to go into executive session, so all those not involved with the executive session will have to leave the council chamber. In the meantime, let's clear the desk off.
Motions for posting and referral.
Unanimous vote.
Council members request from excused at attendance in council meetings. Council member Savornich requests to be excused on October 8th and October 15th to leave at 11:30 for personal business.
Unanimous vote.
Councilmember Miskowski requests to be excused on November 17th to leave at 11:30 for city business. This meets policy.
Vote.
Councilmember Goldberg requests to leave on Wednesday, October 13th for city business. Meets policy.
Unanimous vote.
And Councilmember Ridley Thomas requests to arrive at 11:30 on October 22nd for city business. This meets policy.
Unanimous vote. Okay, the next item.
Closed session item 13.
Okay, is the room secured?
We're still on TV.
Plan A, Plan B.
Okay, we're back in open session. We have some adjourning motions, so would everyone please stand? I'd ask that we adjourn in memory of Joyce Ray, who passed away in Mesa, Arizona. She leaves her husband, Reverend Robert Ray, a daughter, Jana Rogers, and her son-in-law, Ted Rogers, who works for the CLA's office, grandson, 4 other daughters, and 8 other grandchildren. I'd ask we adjourn in her memory.
Must be a different choice.
Ms. Galanter?
I'd like to ask that we adjourn in memory of Mr. Alejo Castro, who is probably best known in the Venice community as the owner and co-owner and operator of the Pasta Factory on Washington Boulevard, and he is the guy who set up the 2 Alejos restaurants in Westchester and in Mar Vista. He unfortunately died on September 23rd of a stroke while visiting family in Morocco. He was born in Spain, left Spain when he was young, traveled extensively studying cooking, came to Southern California in 1975, started out as the executive chef of La Scala restaurant in Malibu and Brentwood, opened La Traviata in Hermosa Beach, and eventually he got religion and came to Venice, and we're very sorry to lose him.
Mr. Holden?
Mr. President, members, sad to announce that we are going to adjourn in memory of Judge Charles Bogue. As you all know, he was a Beverly Hills judge and was the first black public defender in the public defender's office. His service will be on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock in the Christian Fellowship Church on Hobart Boulevard. Also, Mr. President, members, we ask that we adjourn in memory of Harold Von Wilborn. Harold was a successful designer for men and boys sportswear for over 30 years. He later opened a business for ladies' clothing and jewelries. He was a soldier in the Korean War, and he was awarded the National Defense Service Medal. And he leaves his wife, Cordella, and 4 daughters, Colette, Kendish, Ursula, and Helene, and a host of family and friends. Mr. President, members, Wilbertine Y. Tina Kemp. This is Mr. Kemp's wife, Robert Kemp. Her funeral service will be Sunday at Ward AME Church at 10 a.m. 2 daughters, Lisa and Sarah, 1 son, Martin.
Mr. President, could that be all members? Robert Kemp was the Executive Director of Community Development Bank.
Robert Kemp is the husband.
Right, and it's his wife who passed away.
He was the former Executive Director of Community Development Bank.
All members.
Mr. Pacheco?
Asked today that we adjourn in memory of Lynn Benson, who is the wife of Eagle Rock Dr. Douglas Benson. She was killed in the parking lot of another doctor's office in Pasadena. She was shot. Dr. Benson has his practice in Eagle Rock since 1960, and obviously one of the things that the doctor is known for is having delivered many of the children there in the Eagle Rock area. So in memory of his wife, Lynn Benson.
If I could join on that one.
Mrs. Walters?
Yes, I'd like to be a co-sponsor on the motion for Tina Kemp. I have known her since the mid-'70s and have really appreciated her. She always had a bubbling personality and worked hard to support Bob and to rear their children. She was an outstanding wife and mother and community worker, and I think she will be truly missed. My sympathies go to the family.
Call the roll. All right, the council is adjourned. The council will not meet on Tuesday, so the next meeting will be next Wednesday.